All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. So I went to the ophthalmologist. I might be wrong, but I think I'm dealing with a couple different things. The little floaters that like I don't care about that show up every so often, I think that's what he diagnosed. But it turns out that the eye drops seem to be healing the other things a little bit. So, I mean, a lot of it. Right? So it still might be allergy eye combined with these floaters that I've had for years. Right? These were a little bit more present. Right? So, but we'll see. As soon as he dilated my pupils, the whole thing went away. So I don't know, maybe. So I don't know. It may have just spread the solution, the allergy solution better. Right. Now it's kind of warm. I was going out for a walk. I don't know how long I want to walk. Well, sometimes when you have allergies, if you stay inside too much, your body reacts worse to them. That could have been part of it. I wasn't out enough last summer and fall. So I just threw on. I mean, they dilated. I've never had my pupils dilated so much. So driving home was kind of funky. But when I did get home, it was kind of even weird. But I just let it try to run its course, and then I washed my eyes out. Correct. Thanks, Larry. You see anything like serious? He said, she said your vision is correctable to like 2015. And she said, that's really good. Better than most people. Here, I thought I was seeing great with my current glasses because she showed me the difference. She's great at it. I wish she'd have done a multifocal, but she didn't. Right. I didn't think to ask her. I don't know if they could do that. Thank you, Larry. I definitely can smell better right now. I've been doing a lot of. It could be long COVID. I don't know. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff to my sinuses. A lot of rinsing. What was that? Some sound out there in the woods. Sounded like there was a turkey hanging out by our house in that little patch of woods. Every morning I wait, go outside. So again, we'll continue that conversation in the scriptures. And so the idea is if the God of this world blinds their minds lest they see the glorious gospel, then they're blinded, which means what? Spiritual blindness. Correct. So you see the Bible, like we don't know how much the disciples knew. But like Jesus said, greater work shall you do, just by him saying that and the power that he holds in the planet. Let's say, again, I do this every so often for like atheist people and don't believe in God, and to help you all understand how it works. Even if Jesus wasn't with God, which of course he's with God, based upon his following on this planet, he's like the biggest boss, isn't he? He says something, it happens, right? See, God used that mechanism. He really did. Jesus is a huge boss. Like when I started going around healing people, I had a little red Amigo, and I had like a Zion, like a metal plate. I found all sorts of neat metal plates, and I think it was a metal plate or it was a bumper sticker. Said my boss is a Jewish carpenter. Maybe the metal plate. I was finding all these metal decals. The fish eye, the fish with the eye, right, with the cross eye. Thank you, Larry. No, my actual vision isn't horrible for my age, you know. Not like my hearing. My hearing's like, pfft, right. Well, I tell you what, the guy didn't come out and say it, but he was hinting at, I should have had a hearing aid probably last time I went to the VA. Right. Thank you, Larry. So again, the people that were playing games were playing games. Correct. Now I can hear a lawnmower. Where are they cutting grass? Crying out loud. Thank you, Larry. So again, because you've done it so long, I'm going to say something, just by the nature of being affected by it so much. But if you want me to tone it down, then you all need to tone it down. That's just the bottom line. Right. Thank you, Larry. Hey, it's one of the yards over there. It isn't. I don't think it's on the trail. One thing I did notice when I was getting stressed on Amazon, because they did a bunch of stuff to my head on Amazon, so they could just come up at any given time while I'm getting stressed on Amazon. My neck got tight on the right side. All that right stuff just started tightening up. So, right. I got my funky glasses on. My glasses that go over top my glasses. They look like goggles. Right. Actually, now I'm just going to go for a bit. I'm going to climb this hill here, try to get myself back into shape. I got to drop weight, and I got to walk with a little bit of strength requirement. They did a good job of aging me, I'll tell you that. I know y'all think it's funny, but right. Well, that's all messed up. Now he's over here next to me. Now, the one thing Jesus spoke about, I'm going to have to go in here and change. Still there, still there. Low, 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 low. It cursed it, fell off the mount. Now, I never had my eyes dilated like that. I mean, it was some serious stuff. The optometrist does it a lot less. Right. Well, it was pretty much like improving with those drops. Right. So the dilation combined with the drops may have improved it. So for a while, I had these like translucent things, which is what I think he was talking about. I had this funky stuff that is pretty much, he probably couldn't even see it because he didn't come in until after she dilated it. All right. She said she thought I had dry eye. That's what she said. Sounded like dry eye to me. All right. So I just keep going with the drops and see what happens. All right. Again, that tightening of the cranial tissues on the right probably messed up the eye a little bit. They need to stay away from people, I'm telling you right now. 100%. No, there's nothing I could do. It's all a scam. If I shut up, they attack me harder, and they're not proofing me or anything like that. Right. Now, I mean, it was so easy to get me to shut up. Just leave me be. I forget about you. Right. So when I would start healing and forget about them and not say anything, then they would attack again. They say, oh, something's going on. Right. Thank you, Larry. Like I told you, I wouldn't even like coerce a woman for sex. I just don't do it. Right. Right. Now, I've had some failed moments, but that's not something I do. Right. Thank you, there. I've been coerced. Right. I've never had sex with an underage girl or boy, and you all have. Because even when you were younger, you had sex, right? A lot of you? Right. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Larry. She's like, I'm really sensitive to stuff. So it's like a shadow. Ooh, is that one of them? A bug flies by. Is that one of the things? So again, I'm not yelling at them or talking about it. So they're cursing me, so my phone fall. I've never had my phone fall like this before, ever before. What I'll do, though, is to drop it down a little bit. Maybe that weight will change. So that's kind of, Lord wants me to explain that to you. So they can curse you, and there could be a physical thing like, oh, the phone's up higher than I put it before, but actually it wasn't higher than I put it before. But so you drop it down, fix the center of gravity. So what has happened? Somebody blessed it or healed it. And now I get the idea to do that. So again, curses do that kind of thing. Blind the doctor, like the doctor. Woo, woo. Doctors are stupid around me, a lot of them. 100%. Because they're in their head. Believe me, metaphysics is really what's going on. And then they also psychologically torture the doctor, if they can, before he sees me. So he doesn't want to see me again. It's like, oh, there's a guy they're torturing me because of. No, you do this my whole life. They never let me do anything, man. They think they're funny. Well, if I go to a society of people, I can work my ass off and nobody will be my friend. Right. And not because of me. See, that's their whole scam. Oh, everybody hates you. I'm one of the most loved men in church until they did this. Right. Oh yeah, a lot of the time he's got time. He's 40, he's 35, he's 40, he's 45, he's 50, he's 55. Well, he's 60. He lived his life. Right. I'll tell you right now, God just said none of us has actually lived a life yet. But again, some will be judged. The afterlife is the real life. This is like a womb here. And the trick is not to be born into hell. Thanks, Larry. Actually, I need to try to do something here. So like the VA is really weird getting hearing aids. Cause the VA is really weird getting hearing aids because you don't know what you're gonna get. So I didn't ask him. I told him the company I wanted, but I should have told him asked him if that was the model. Hi, how you doing? If that was the model that he was gonna uh, buy purchase. I maybe should have got a Signia. I don't know. I don't know. They were telling me the other one was better sounding one. I don't know. Could have been BS. He said, "Don't believe everything you hear," and that kind of stuff. Right. Bunch of people cutting the grass today. Satan's dance. It's much better walking on this trail, but it's a lot more work. So I'll get the heart going a little bit. Again, they block me from purchasing houses and all sorts of things. I mean, it's just uncalled for. Right. They know the truth of everything. That's how you brainwash and psychologically torture a person. Otherwise, they get to a normal life, and then it doesn't matter. Right. They'll just say they're trying to get a confession. It's bullshit. Again, stop thinking about me and go away, and I won't be talking about you. If you can't control those people, then there can't be a truce. Right. Just look who's looking at me online and take them out. Same way you did to my life, do it to them, and then they'll probably stop. Right. Because they don't know how to live without $1 million. Correct. Thanks, Larry. Nobody wants to hear the BS coming from your projections already. You're not contrite. You're not sorry. Right. Not in reverse. Now they do the reversal. They even willed me to say back at you the other day. I'm like, no, I didn't say it. They willed me. It's gone. But I put a big whammy on it that if you say it, you get taken down. It's just stupid. You don't say back at you. What they're doing is reversing what you say. I mean, it's so ignorant. The system's not even supposed to allow that. Right. Yeah, Trump could go to hell. Trump could be innocent. What they want me to do is talk about Trump and attack Trump. That's what the people that are doing this, some are Republicans. And they're trying to get me to attack Trump. They've been there for a while. I've been playing them for a while. Right. Just to see who they were. And they go, Trump, you need us. You have to finance us to get these people. But they're the ones actually coming against Trump and making people come against Trump. Otherwise, they just mind their own business. There's nothing that I have to stop on with you. But to the contrary, you all need to stop. So again, one of the things that I need to do is get my body to relax enough that I don't have to use the magnesium oil. Because what that's doing is that's like relaxing it too much in spots. That's why the muscle relaxers don't work. One spot will be tight, one spot will be loose. Nah, I took like about 2 of those and that was it. Like not even 2, like a half of 2, if that. But I am taking an inflammation. I don't even know why I didn't try an inflammation blend. I just haven't. I mean, it's them, I guess. Well, I'm thinking back as to when this happens, and it's when the guy told me not to take my aspirin. And I stopped taking aspirin, and then I got all screwed up. Not that I was perfect before that, but. And I think the move too far was when they were torturing me in my storage unit, and then I tried moving out of there in Oklahoma, and then. I mean, I moved to Oklahoma. I was happy. I was just going to do little projects here and there to keep myself busy. Go to stores a little bit, go shopping. Really, nothing much. I have no idea what they were telling people I was doing. And then they started bringing those little girls around. Oh, you didn't act natural. Well, I don't think you'd act natural after like 30 years or even 20 years. That'd be 10 years. Right. Well, you're obviously projecting at me. That's why I'm obviously speaking about you all. You want to find them and take them out, and then I'll stop talking about it. How about that? Take them out. Thank you, Larry. Well, this is the biblical information that needs to be shared. The spiritual information needs to be shared if they're still out there. Otherwise, I'll talk about the other stuff. So again, these are the people that are blinding the minds of the other people, lest they see the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ, and then telling you, they'll look there, lo, there's the sinner, lo, there's the sinner. But look at us, we're with Christ. Right. To tell you the truth, I tried moving into a 55 plus community ever since I was like 55. They blocked it just so they could say I was doing something else.
You think it's a broken sprinkler system or something?
What's that?
The water?
Hold on. Something happened. Some water's leaking. I think somebody may be emptying their pool or something. Unless it's a water main. And then what they did is this thing fell. So they want me to believe that guy, that guy did it. I know how to do it. I mean, it's a very big system that does this. I mean, there's a ton of things they do to make it happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some fuzzy Velcro around the top part and bottom part, and just take a piece of the other side of Velcro and connect it at the connection, and then it won't fall off. I have one piece of Velcro already wrapped around the bottom part of the one side. I still think the answer is releasing the right side. So as soon as I release the right side of my body, then the left side will pick up. Again, some of this might also be from the allergens. Seems like there's a connection. I was talking to my therapist, and she's like, "Well, sometimes, till we get ourselves started in the morning, warmed up, there could be those issues." And I said, "Well, it's not the morning; it's like 8 o'clock at night, and that's when it starts to cool." Right. Again, it may not be cooling as much as the sun. She keeps projecting. I really don't care about what you're projecting, all of you, but I can read that you have something that you project that causes a disruption in a person's comfort. Well, you'll go to hell, all of you. I'm not sending you to hell, all of you. God is. It's in the scriptures. Oh, you just want me to get offline? That's a lie. We'll make it offline so nobody ever hears anything from me. Again, it's probably limited who hears it, but they get into fights with other people within the law enforcement community at times. You think I don't know what's going on? Thanks, Larry. So they're definitely feeling the pressure. Oh yeah, I want to talk about that. There's an increase in when you get an increase in group uh, herd operations around the immigration operations, then you're going to it could give rise again. Copycat's a big one. Right. You just have to increase your security and make sure you have sufficient things. Like in that particular location, I guess the local police did show up. I mean, I don't know who that person was, but if it wasn't high priority, you know, right. Well, to make sure it didn't ever happen, a simple work visa program would have worked. Now, the problem arises when we have like non specified positions that need to be filled based upon the best case scenario for uh, our particular economy, quote unquote. Yeah, I can't use I can't use my regular. Like I was trying to get away from the load bearing equipment, right, but I can't use it. It doesn't put my phone up high enough. And again, when I go out, I have a pouch with my necessities and stuff, my wallet. Well, I left the property that we live on, so I should have my ID at that point. Wait, not too many people out golfing today. A little bit warm, I guess, before I come in the evening. There are some people, but not too many. Thanks, Larry. Well, they wouldn't be coming here unless they're going to get a job. I mean, not all of them, of course, but some people writing home. Again, if you go to the right community, you work the right job, you have a pretty good life. Correct. Because that's true about everybody, right? Worst thing I ever did was go in government, I'll tell you that. That's just a personal thing. And they just kept operating. Right. And lying, of course. I'll tell you, with these eye drops, you got to fight the urge to do it early. But it's definitely a psychological crutch to do it twice a day instead of one. And, it depends how this all goes, but I believe the twice a day is better than once a day. Even though, say, it's 24-hour, I don't necessarily see that. They never stop. Don't let them tell you they stop. Never stopped in my life. Kept doing it the whole time. Just go in the background a little bit if they get a little nervous. Go off and do some real case work for a little while to help keep their credibility. Right. So like my eyes were like dilated like crazy. So I came outside and I'm like, ah. Then I remembered that I had these glasses. It looked like goggles that you put over your glasses. In fact, my photograys are probably not the best. I've had them so long. The protective coating is probably minimized. I don't call them photograys. What do they call them nowadays? I forget. Where they adjust the darkness, light sensitive. They're probably not the best anyway. It's probably better to have a real set of sunglasses when you go outside walking for any extended period of time or bike riding or anything like that. Nice. So I didn't go to the wrong places. I went everywhere right. They screwed everything up. But I went to Naples. First I went to the Seas, which would have been a great life. I was just telling my brother, when I went to winter solstice to Lake Wales, right, I volunteered. I was all in. I volunteered to do work and all that. I think you get half price off or something. Right. I went to a Snatum Krakalsa concert in Philadelphia, paid my dues there. I could tell when I got there and she saw me that somebody told her something about me, right? Because she just looked at me weird, right? Thanks, Larry. Thank you, Larry. And then I went to the solstice. Correct, sir. And I was, reading people, helping everyone, right? Meeting the, big names in the, not necessarily big names, but, people that were part of the culture for a while. Right. I had like a work schedule or something. And I sat down on the yoga line, and this doctor and his wife were sitting next to me, minding my own business. Right. And they started with, "Oh my God," like I just said something to them. So I moved some magic, and then I looked around, and I don't know if it's true, but something said those are agents. Look like agents for sure, but I didn't know. I don't know. So then I was like, well, I'm gonna go cut out of here for it for a while because it's like the Kundalini yoga stuff. I went back to my tent. Well, I think I went to my tent a couple feeling weird. All right. And I actually started hallucinating. Just like when I closed my eyes. I wouldn't say I was seeing things when I closed my eyes, right? Because I was getting so sick, I laid down on my tent. And I'm like, they must have drugged. You can put it on a zipper, they can put it anywhere, right? So I was like, I gotta get out of here. I can't stay. They're getting me, right? So they probably thought the drug had already started to work when they started, harassing me. Right. So I said, look, my mother wants me to go, and she probably did. I have to go, mother. My mother called, quote unquote. So sorry. I was like real close to leaving the marsh there. And they said, well, we have to ask so and so. He said, well, just make sure you wash an extra dish after dinner or something. Not as sick. I think I tried to lay down again. I was like, not as sick as I was. I went to my vehicle. I took down my tent, went to my vehicle. It wouldn't start. So somebody gave me a jump. I drove to a hotel somewhere. It's probably, it's in Florida, probably western side, maybe like Tampa or above that or something. Right. And then I tried to stay the night, and I was sick. And I'm like, I need something to relax me. So I went to get some, Jesus, drank wine, I'm sure, but wasn't going to get drunk. I just see if it could relax me, like medicinal. Right. And the went to Walmart, and it goes, it's now 12 o'clock. The liquor sales is closed on this Saturday at 12. And this is the thing. I was going to go to, there was like a Christmas thing they were going to do. They said, everybody's invited, whoever wants to go. It must have been some like really wealthy Indian or something, a wealthy person, big house, And they said, you can go and they'll put us up for Christmas. So I was going to have Christmas, like the first real Christmas with people in years. So again, God was fixing it. And I was going to go to, and maybe that's why they did it. Maybe they figured I would go to that. Right. So it was going to be with, it was a family, and then like a bunch of us, obviously some of the bigger names were going to go too. Right. And we were going to do Christmas together. And I thought, it's cool. I haven't had Christmas with people in a long, I still haven't had Christmas with people. Right. And it was what they do, man. So, I was all in. And I most likely would have stopped. Most likely wouldn't have went to California. My next stop was California. I was just doing a solstice. So I most likely would not have gone to California. I was stopped at Espanola with them. And I started working from that point forward, from 2005 forward. So, thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. You know, I do a lot of work for those spiritual communities in my time. Right. So let me turn this back to regular hearing. You kind of direct your hearing, so it gets kind of weird when you direct it forward, like only hearing in front of you versus all around when you're in like a quiet area. Right. Your ear kind of, I think your ears kind of do that. You know, your brain does that also. It simulates the brain. So I got in my vehicle and I went to that hotel and I went to Walmart. Like, oh no, I can't. I went back to my room. I'm like, I can't stay here. I've done it a couple times. I had to leave. I was so sick. Right. So I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to get somewhere. Not be able to spend the night here. So I got a room and ended up not even staying there. Right. So I drove and drove and drove, and finally, I look up in the sky. There's stars being thrown down. God said, I'm throwing them stars down for you. That's what God told me. There's some fallen stars. I'm throwing them stars down for you. Oh my God. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. And I get to this one spot. I think I got gas. I pulled off, get gas, and I got to this one spot. Like, there's like a hotel next door or something, but I wasn't going to say it. I was like tired at that point. And God said, sleep here next to that semi. And I woke up, I was healed. And God said, the guy in the semi was a guy, I don't know, guy or gal in the semi that was sleeping in there is a good person. Again, they're like a healer body. So it's a good place for you to sleep. And I did. I slept real well. When I woke up, the semi was gone. And I started heading back, heading to California. And the vehicle got screwed up. The catalytic converter, I don't know what it was for sure, but they had to cut the catalytic converter off if I was going to go anymore. So we did that. It was on its way out. I think it probably had some sort of electronic problem that maybe it was timing too. Maybe it needed to be retimed or whatever. But I ended up spending Christmas in San Antonio. And that's when I went to the Catholic Church, and it just got too crazy, and I left. Spiritually, it got crazy. Jesus said, get on out. He didn't say get on out. What happens is I go to the church. I'm sitting there relaxing. It was a Catholic church, San Antonio Catholic Church. I thought that was a good place to be for Christmas. So I went to the church, and as soon as the preacher started speaking, I could hear like a sword battle, like demons and angels. And then I see Jesus at the front, and I'm not drugged at this point, at the front, right front. Well, maybe, it could be a chance. I was drugged. I mean, maybe it was on my steering wheel. I don't know. But I don't think so. And Jesus was walking down the aisle on the right side of the church. He walked past me, and I looked back, and he walked out the door. So I said, what's my cue? Let me get out of here. It's not going to work out, whatever it is. Right. So I left, and I think I went back to the place. Keep going, sir. And they fixed it like some Mexican dude, and welded a pipe on. And then I was out of there. Right. Rode my bike a little bit, ate like a Sikh meal, and then I went off towards California. Kind of wish I stayed in California. That yin yoga would have kept me healthy for life. But they curse it so bad you can't. I mean, you can't. I mean, one of the ladies that owns the yoga studio, it's a pretty big one. She's frowning at me, and I have no idea why she's frowning at me. Right. I see her. It's like, how you see people? Like, all of a sudden I see her, she sees me, and she's frowning at me. I'm like, what? I knew something had to be up because all my classes were like wall to wall women where they weren't that to begin with, Right. Probably a bunch of evil agents. Right. Thank you, Larry. Bike got stolen. Almost got a great deal on a new bike in Culver City, but the dude's like, wait, that's not the right price tag. It's like $1,600 for like a $3,000 bike or something. I don't think it was that expensive. It was like 12, probably like a 2,500 bike back then, Right. The thing about bikes, they don't matter. Like, you buy them and then all of a sudden they're worth nothing a few years later. Actually, they hold their value a little bit better now, but right. That's why you'll see like lower price models now, like the Diamondbacks and the Mongooses, but there's still like an entry level good bike. You'll see them. You'll see them. They'll be like 2 or 3 years a certain model. Right? They don't even put the year on it anymore. So I'm trying to cut down on my pizza. I just got to be careful. I don't know what's up with my stomach. Probably that I had. What I do? Take pizza crust and eat like that's it. And you can cook it with some cheese on there or some dairy down a little bit. See if that helps. Thank you, Larry. No, it's interesting because it's bread. Yeah, a lot of people just eat the pizza. My body is just too loose at this point. But I think I was taking care of a tight muscle here. I guess if I get that, then I won't have to stay and deal with being too. Think about it. If you really want me to, I mean, I use foreigners and stuff. It's everything you think it is. A conservative thinks it is, but there are conservatives involved in it. So. Well, it's just crazy because, like I don't think Trump knows. I mean, maybe he knows that they lock people out of money. So, like, Trump likes people with money, but he's got to, So again, the entrance is only people with money, and then who is that? Oh, the deep state gave you money. The people that can actually help Trump don't have any money. Correct, and that's another one of their scams. Well, it's just weird that nobody could find the 13 claim, right? And also my lure goes, there it is. Now they're fighting that too. So what they're doing is, the lady said, I left a message and said, look, I need a form to request, to give you all my, all the medical places where we need to get our stuff from. and all the records. And they said, "Oh, you mean the VA form?" And she sent me the VA form, and I'm like, "I just want to talk to my lawyer so I can explain it to him, you know." And there's no communication. Just sending me an email after I leave a message, right? Because otherwise, I probably won't even talk to them. Right? No, a form from him. Your lawyer is supposed to request the medical records. That's what's supposed to happen. And then the lawyer gets him direct, and the lawyer gets correct. And then the lawyer can look those over. Agreed, Larry. Well, because it's a lawyer. Actually, now I can put this on the other. The initial tightening was what was happening back in Naples and all that. If in a massage, it never would have got like this because you have to release and keep it released. It does long term damage, and that's kind of what happened. Yeah, there's no way. I should have been in Texas during COVID. Right? Just it was like I was actually almost the perfect place before I left. Right? But it was getting funky because like I would try to get an apartment, and they were like no. She's like, no, and I don't know. Are crazy. Like I think they wouldn't live there, but I don't mind living there. Right. But it was Norman. It wasn't like Northwest Oklahoma where I was initially looking. Yeah, I was still in pretty good condition. I was actually in better condition that first winter in Oklahoma City than it was in Florida. Now the question is, if they're drugging me and it's making me sick, did they have to get people in place? Right. Thanks, Larry. Yeah, the allergens in the summer, in the spring, I guess, in Santa Fe were pretty bad. But otherwise, the winters were fine. But I had cockroaches and stuff. I mean, I'm trying to get to a place where that didn't exist. And drugs and look at my peephole and there's some cop patting somebody down. That kind of stuff. That's right. I said the cop did the wrong thing. He did it in front of the door. And I shouldn't be able to look at a peephole and see him while he's patting somebody down. Right. The wall may have been full. I don't know. Could have been like 8 people. It's a certain apartment. Somebody was like dead in there. I guess they got. I think it was a drug overdose. So, right. Then they had uber dangerous. Like people thought it was live there, but cops knew the location and kept it as pretty clean. Really, I mean, right. I mean, once something happened, they would pull them out, and that's it. They don't stay there anymore. Right when it's real bad, like a gun or something. Right. Though it's probably good for the cops to live in like Albuquerque, though. I don't know if they'd have had a good life if they could afford Santa Fe. Right. Yeah, I woke up sick today. I was pretty good yesterday. Today, I kind of turned off the dehumidifier last night, and that may have been it. I got some massages coming up. I got to get out of the one massage place. It's just not going to work. It's just, I don't know. It's something wrong with their facility. And then they upcharged me, and now it's a week later, and I still haven't got the form to fill out. So I have to call them and try to get that. I don't know how these people are going to do this week. It's an expensive massage, but they say they know cranial tissues. I should have just kept myself light. I shouldn't even have got the trailer. I should have just got rid of everything, right? And then just kept a van full of stuff and lived wherever with a van full of stuff. I guess the trailer made sense, but I should have got like a. What I should have did is just got like a camper trailer, right? And then traveled with that. Again, if my health was where it was, like in 2010 or something, where I came back, I was pretty healthy. That's when I should have did it. Right. But again, they were willing me to be with my mother and all that, and finally broke free. I don't know if I should have left, but Naples definitely wasn't working. Thanks, Larry. The people in the gym were doing that crazy stuff. My therapy, like I should have been in the therapy. Like the whole thing played. It's all Satan's stance, because I was seeking therapy when I was at the Marshal Service, but then they did that crazy shit, right? Especially, I had a doctor scheduled and everything. And I just couldn't get back to it. I couldn't trust it. Like, they became the enemy at that point, right? I mean, as far as God goes, we learned a lot about what you're actually doing in those places. And we learned who the ACLU actually is. They don't give a shit. They're deep state. Take a case when they're told to take a case, and don't take a case when they're told. Thanks, Larry. All I wanted was my health. That's all I needed. I told y'all that, right? It's intense. I mean, it's like you can't beat a spy entity, right? Yeah, it wasn't like they were going to go away. I mean, come on. Right? I probably got more people not to do it by explaining it than not explaining it, right? Or at least do it halfway instead of fully. Correct, Larry. Yeah, they're not doing what they say they're doing. They brainwash you and make you believe, try to make you believe there's a system. I know my therapist says you're just doing what any human would naturally do under such circumstances. See? God. Like I used to be afraid to tell him, The one I told her, and she's like, "Well, I'll see you in a month because if there's nothing wrong with you, I can't see you because the insurance company won't want to pay." So I think she just wanted to get away from it. Right. Yeah, I still might need surgery, but again, obviously, I can't get anywhere. Right. I keep telling you, sending me these things. God, TV. I definitely needed to move out last September. I just couldn't get myself to it. That may have been their plan. All I was doing was trying to build the ark. And it was pretty healthy last summer when I was driving around. I mean, I still had aches and pains, but right. Now they curse so much that it actually just it just happens. Nothing works. Right. But they just sit there and watch everything, curse everything. That's what they use the watch list for. It's highly suspect right from the beginning. I mean, of course, I knew what was going on. It wasn't. That's good. Well, I just don't, as far as Trump, he almost believes like there's something that's going to rescue him from, what the judges are going to rule. Right. Brush the water. Supreme Court has actually stepped outside its usual methodology, right, to help the administration realize that certain things are a waste of time. So I don't know. God bless you, Larry. Oh, if you can go in certain directions, then you don't have to go in the other direction. Back the other way. Correct. Right. You may have. It just again, and then you don't alienate certain communities. They don't have as much ammunition. Strange. Look for ammunition sales. Ammunition sales. Keep an eye on ammunition sales. Again, I brought this up before. Keep an eye on weapons and ammunition sales. If you see a surge, it might be an honest person, but you need to discern that. Investigatively discern that. Right. So that just came up. It's weird. You know, they don't have as much ammunition kind of deal. Thanks, Larry. So apparently they were saying whatever I investigate is a crime I'm thinking about. Said it. Like when I try to help them with the bombers, then I'm the bomber. That might be actually part of their psychology, but I guess that's how they explain it. Yeah. Thanks. Of theory, but it's actually a psychological torture method. Thanks, Larry. They just said, somebody said there were some undercover officers put in Walmart to work a case. That's bullshit. They're just there to orchestrate things against me. And they actually had sex with the women in Walmart. If they would have said I was trying to have sex with. Right. So I made news articles about cops explaining how they found this guy with PTSD because he ran away. Right. I mean, they felt sorry for him and explained their approach methods. And I'm thinking, what bullshit? I got freaking cops trying to make me worse than that guy right now. Right back in Naples. My eyes are actually not as sore and all that right now. So I'm going to keep using them drops. That's weird. Right. That's no idea. So what they do is they try to tell me that my therapist is actually setting me up, but she's not. They may have access to the notes, but I don't care. And she's not giving them access. She's using some sort of app. I could see that they like introduced her to it. I know they are. Correct, Larry. No, they, some people go over that and they can't say something out loud, but they're tore up in what they did to my life. I mean, right? There's a reason. Right. You're trying to force me to become a peer or something worse. Yes, if there is like a murderer and sex offender, right? Like the system they use can be used to make somebody a preacher. They could make a drug using, sex offending gambler that beats people up on Friday and Saturday night into a preacher. I mean, a picture perfect preacher. Right. But they opted to do the reverse. I mean, can you imagine trying to explain that to God? That you use psychology to destroy people instead of build them up, right? Including trying to force them to sin and crime. Now, by the time I left the Marshal Service, I was already destroyed by these people. Like trouble with like walking up and talking to that, and they did it again. Right. Now, what I think I should have did, really, of all the people I met in Miami, there was a woman that had done. At least she told me. She's honest. I hope she wasn't FBI or something. But she told me she didn't come off as FBI. She told me she had been to California and did the spiritual circuit, and she was working in like a had a lot of Buddhas and stuff, but it had like, I forget what it had. Just had upscale kind of knickknacks on Lincoln, and and of all the people I met, she's probably the one that I probably should have. She wasn't a looker, but it doesn't have to be. As long as you have good conversation, right? Especially with me, I talk a lot, right? I think I should have tried to do something with her there. right? Everything was just so crazy after a while in Miami because they were starting to do their shit, right? Hmm. She's like an average person. Who knows where she is on her, now. I don't know how old she's probably about 30. I was probably about what, 40. Right. If I had, asked her to, we want to go to the beach or something one day, she probably said, yeah. Right. Like now I can think of it. Then I was too damaged. And I'm damaged now, but I can look back and think of it. Again, all the curses are off of that. Right? There's probably people in the store that well, they tried all sorts of stuff, but there's probably people in the store that was them, right? Blowing it down. So one of the things they wanted me was like a Jim Jones, try to believe that I was God or something, right? Thank you, Larry. In fact, they may have made Jim Jones like that. I'll tell you, my my Hotmail account is just shit. Outlook is shit. I don't know what they did, but I should probably just make a new Hotmail or something else, Outlook.com. I have so much spam and just garbage. And then if I send for an email to come in to for like a verification number or a validation number, confirmation or whatever it is, where you do the number thing, it don't work. Correct. 6 hours if it does arrive, and it's not my spam. It might be because they can hack the other account better. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird today, like compared to yesterday. Yesterday I was much more settled. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because I wonder if it's warmer. Yeah, maybe I didn't sleep as well too. Nah, sleep aids. Sometimes sleep aids aren't necessary. You got to just take care of whatever's causing you to need the sleep aid. Right. Polarity on um, audio that I'm listening to. It was weird. I fixed it a little bit. No, I was very comfortable with it, listening to the Book of Mormon every night. Right. Now it makes them mad because, if you look at my internet, it says Book of Mormon audio. They're always trying to shift their victim. What's bad for their case. I don't know. Today's like weird. Right. Tomorrow I have, I guess, some stuff to do. I actually have been forced away from my life. Something happened in Florida because my body would not relax. They could have been drugging me because the massage therapist was like, you got to see a doctor because you're just too stiff. I was still pretty healthy. Right. And I went to a doctor and he's like telling me you have to exercise. It was really a malpractice suit, but I had no energy to put it through. Right. And he needed to tell me to relax, right, and give me like a steroid treatment or muscle relaxers. Then my mother and I went to a neurologist, and he said he don't know what caused it, but he asked me to do a bunch of things like stand on one leg and kind of thing. Thanks, Larry. Who knows? I did go to a chiro. Maybe the chiro could have caused it. Maybe I don't know. I don't see how they can do that. But they gave me muscle relaxers, and I went to the chiro, and that was like it was like too much. The fret changed in my neck. It was more relaxed. They had no right to be in my life. I'll tell you that. I don't know the way they operate. I don't know the right to be in anybody's life anymore. Well, you obviously don't want to go away all the time. We'll talk about you. Y'all need to find them and take them out. They're actually the ones that were supposed to be taken out by that program that they said they were running. Right? See how they do that? Reverse the polarity. Thank you, Larry. Now, one of the things I need to do is change what I'm putting my head on this bed, because the one on the other bed is funny because God has the whole thing already exposed. This thing's up too high, I think. Too sharp of an angle. Well, I left the government over years ago. So corrupt. Thanks, Larry. Nah, there's a lot of promise in my life. They're just not going to except there was this cop in Alachua. He stalked me at this hotel. It was just insane. Everything, these people were just absolutely insane. I agree, Larry. Come around a corner and he's like yapping with the guy at the counter, like I'm a terrorist or some shit. Right, Larry. I'm just, I've been in law enforcement. I know they're just squirrely pieces of shit. Correct. If somebody calls him up and puts him in, and now he's in it for life or whatever, right? But he's just like, I'm just like, yeah. Right. Meanwhile, there's real stuff to worry about going on. me see what I got. Battery's kind of dying there. I don't know if it's going to be enough charge to put it running. Yeah, they weren't supposed to be in my life. They knew what they were doing. Destroying somebody's neurology is one of the worst things you could do to them. Yeah, he's probably like at Fifley now. He's probably the chief of fraud with Department of Law Enforcement, right? So they're trying to get me like to dunk on Trump. It's pretty funny. Now they launched a psyop. Oh, you got an operator that won't stop. You got to stop them, don't you? I mean, you give them a licensed operator or a badge or whatever it is, right? Yeah, they rage inside to try to get you to rage. They're bizarre. Well, what I did was after I left the community in Alachua, I drove to New Orleans, right, for a yoga thing, and then that's how it worked. And then I went back. I decided to stop back in what everybody was doing. So I guess they all freaked out, as far as the corrupt people that pushed me out of that community. They were trying to make it seem like sitting with a woman and petting, I guess they used to call it petty, or petting, not petting, petting. I would be getting mad. It was normal, man. They used to do all this crazy stuff around me. Like I told you, they tried to make every place seem sexual. You go to a church and the pianist is giving you the eye. Right. Like she's paid. They don't got money. Pay them, $10,000 or whatever it is throughout the operation. They love that. No, they crashed me, and you know, I kind of pushed when till I know when I got back to Oklahoma, I just crashed. I couldn't get the doctors or massage or anything. I just could have got to this pain management I may have healed. Right? They harassed my mother too. It's just bad all the way around. I got to work on this VA thing next. Probably wait till Monday to focus on it. They've been working hard to push me away from doing those. No, I myself, they're brainwashed. Have any react that you're a criminal because you're reacting to it. They're forcing me to read Liz Cheney's post. That's part of it. Right? Well, as far as Michael Banks here, you know, he's talking about the number of 5,000 criminal aliens were apprehended, but the number that don't come across, that's probably another 5,000. I brought that rent to the government stuff years ago. Hmm. The mayor of Newark, is it? Yeah, was just arrested. It may not work right though. It may backfire. I know why they're covering their face, but I feel I was the one who brought up reasons to do that. A good look, especially on some of these detention. In the into a facial recognition base. Yeah, but I think Robert Prevost was on. Other people were receivers, right? As one of the top three or something. Because I guess X on there or something. It's actually Grok is saying. There's some gross stuff on here. It's Vatican News, Gospel of the Day. I mean, come on.